Welcome to the Shades of Havana podcast, where we explore the rich history and culture of one of the world's most iconic cigar-making cities. Ybor City has been synonymous with premium cigars for over a century, thanks to the pioneering efforts of visionaries like Vicente Martinez, Ybor and Julius Caesar, J.C. Newman, and the countless families and businesses that followed in their footsteps. From the bustling cigar factories that once lined Ybor City streets, to the boutique shops and lounges that dot the city today, Tampa's cigar industry has left an indelible mark on the city's identity and character. Join us as we sit down with the industry experts, passionate enthusiasts, and local legends to uncover the stories, traditions, and innovations that have made Tampa Bay the cigar capital of the world. Whether you're a seasoned enthusiast or a curious newcomer, we invite you to light up, relax, and journey with us into the fascinating cigar capital of the world. Welcome to Shades of Havana, with your host, Michael Doyle. Shades of Havana was brought to you by celebrating their 75th anniversary, Porsche Tampa. The global leader in two-way cigar humidity control, Boveda Inc. Award-winning air purifiers, Rabbit Air. Turn your garage or basement into the ultimate man cave with Man Cave King. When you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, fund your bliss at Bliss Mortgage. For the latest styles in golf and beach apparel, Fluke Apparel Company. Premium quality lifestyle eyewear with 100% mineral glass lenses. Otis Eyewear. And treasure awaits. Visit Tampa Bay.
Welcome to Shades of Havana. I am your host, Michael Doyle. We are here at the Corona Cigar Company in Tampa, Florida, also known as the former cigar capital of the world. It's been an honor and a pleasure to have so many people in the cigar smoking community to join us and rally behind us as we, for the first time, have taken our show on the road to the cigar capital of the world. I'm joined by some special guests here today. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves and tell us what you're smoking?
I'm Gerrie Bliss from Bliss Mortgage. Today I'm smoking the J.C. Newman Julius Caesar.
I'm Ira Lockhart with Corona Cigar Company, and I'm also a member of Smoking Shields, which is a law enforcement, fire, and military cigar group.
What's going on, guys? My name is Kenny Majiid. I work for Bliss Mortgage with this guy over here. I'm actually smoking a Camacho, Connecticut. I like the lighter end of the cigars, like the nuances. So I'm proud to be here celebrating the 128th year of Newman family, and I'm proud to be on the Shades of Havana show.
I actually have a question for you. So You work for Gerrie, huh?
I work for Gerrie, but he doesn't like to hear that.
All right, so I have to ask you, did he tell you what you can and cannot say on our show, or are there certain...
So on the record, no, I have freelance to do whatever I want. Okay. Off the record, yeah.
Okay, so you're not going to go to work tomorrow and then get in trouble and maybe end up being fired.
I get in trouble every day with this guy.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure. I mean, I get in trouble all the time too. I mean, it happens to be maybe in our nature, and we'll find out as we go on with the show.
You got to poke the bear a little bit.
Yes,
you know what
I mean, how far can you poke this bear?
Honestly, this is one of my best friends right here. And so all jokes aside, I could say things to him that probably a lot of other people can't say because of our relationship. And so I always say I don't work for him. It's just that we work together. Our friendship has kind of evolved into a work relationship. That's the best way to say it.
Well, you talk about friendship, and the most important thing about that is the fact that when you go to work and you can trust one another, you know you're going to go to work and do good things. Great things come from it, right?
Absolutely.
And when you talk about friendship, you also think about the friendships that you establish here in the cigar smoking community,
right,
which is by far absolutely special. Just today, we filmed 4 episodes here at the Corona Cigar Company in Tampa, and it's been absolutely spectacular. The people that have come out, I mean, the audience here is somewhat kind of, quieted down, but it was packed. And it was really, it really is a testament to what it is you guys do, Ira.
Absolutely.
Day in and day out. How long have you worked here?
7 years.
7 years. So how did you get started here with Corona Cigar?
So by trade, this is my weekend job. I'm a private investigator. So I do a lot of investigations. I used to work for an SIU, a special investigative unit for an insurance company. So I used to travel a lot. And I was always in Orlando a lot, and that's where I met Tommy back in 2006.
Okay.
So when they moved to Tampa and I came here, Tommy's like, "What are you doing in Tampa?" And I'm like, "I live here." He was like, "But you were always always in Orlando." I'm like, "I just had a lot of clients over there." Orlando and Miami. So he was like, he knew I worked for Cigar Castle.
Okay.
And I knew a lot about cigars and bourbon. So he was like, please, I need you to come over here and help me out.
That's great.
So 7 years ago, here I am.
Does it feel like forever, or does it feel like you just started?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, because I really enjoy what I do. I don't have to do this.
Okay.
But I enjoy it. I have fun because I make well enough money to take care of me on my day job. But I really enjoy doing this. This is like my peace.
Well, you said the key word fun, and I wanted to have fun here today, but now that we have a special investigator here on set, I'm a little bit more reserved than I would typically be in any other day.
Don't be.
Well, you say that now, but anything that happens afterwards, who knows where it could come from. But, it's interesting because you told us special investigator, and, somebody just kind of told me in my ear that there's a little story behind you that I think that our audience would love.
Yeah.
And if you wouldn't mind sharing.
Everybody knows about the whole Carole Baskin's incident. Carole Baskins is a lady here in Tampa, Florida, who has a big cat rescue. So the first one came out during COVID. My wife was like, oh, I'm gonna watch this, you should watch it with me. And I'm like, I'm not watching that crap. No way. So one day, my partner calls me and says, hey, Ira, I've got a summons that I need you to serve. And I'm like, give it to one of the process servers. I'm an investigator, I don't do that. So he goes, no, you have to do it. And I'm like, why? He said, well, just come in the office and I'll tell you. And I said, no, I'm not coming in the office until you tell me. He was like, man, bring your ass in the office and let me give you the summons. So I get in the office and I get the summons and it says Carole Baskins. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. The lady out there who killed her husband, and she
Allegedly.
No. There's no allegedly. Yeah. So he goes, yeah. So I'm like, So I go home and I get all my guns, because I'm not gonna be, if she decides to kill me, somebody else is gonna die too. Cats, people, whatever. So I go home, I get all my stuff, I go out there, and I go to Big Cat Rescue, get to the gate, they let me in, they call Carole, she comes out, I serve her. But after I served her, and this is where the big thing, so Netflix filmed me on Tiger King 2. So when I served her, I told her one of the girls in my office wanted me to take a selfie with her. So she goes, oh, sure. Clip, we take a selfie together. Well, little did I know how big that selfie was gonna end up being. So after I took the selfie, the attorney calls me. He says, Ira, before you serve her, I want you to wear a body camera. I said, I'm sorry, I've already served her. He was like, darn. And I said, but I took a selfie with her. And he goes, stop effing with me, Ira. Because he knows I joke a lot and I like to have fun. And I said, no, I'm serious. He says, wait a minute. You took a selfie with her knowing that you're serving her a summons. And I said, yes. He was like, okay, I gotta ask you, was it before or after you served her? I said, I took the selfie after I served her. And he goes, she's crazy. And I said, batshit crazy. So after I served her, he goes, send me the picture. So I sent him the picture. He calls me back and says, do you mind if I put that in a worldwide press release? And I'm like, why? Just to prove that you served her. So he sends it out. And I'm telling you, every news agency around the world picked that photo up. That night, he calls me and says, the director from Netflix Tiger King wants to interview you. So I'm like, okay. So they come to my house first, they see my cigars, and then she goes, oh, how cool would it be to do it at the cigar shop? And I'm like, sure. So I call and text Jeff. Jeff says, sure, absolutely. So we come here, the film crew sets up. I sit right here at the end of the bar. They interviewed me. We drove around. I had to hit a couple of other major people that's involved in the lawsuit. Once I did that, then they went back to New York. They got everything put together in November of 2021. That's when Tiger King 2 came out, and I was one of the main folks in the 3rd episode. The funny thing about that whole thing is I got so many people on Instagram and Facebook that hit me up, and everybody kept saying, you seem like the most normal person on Tiger King. And I'm like, well, I guess that's a good thing.
Now, do you have kids?
I do.
You do?
I have 2.
Did you ever think that outside of your wife that probably the most second person that loves you more is Joe Exotic?
Joe probably doesn't know well, he does. He knows who I am.
You take down Carole Baskin, I think everybody knows you.
Yeah, no, everybody does. I got so many messages. Congratulations, that was great. You served at BITCH. And I'm like, okay.
But, it's interesting because you talk about serving. You served in the military. So, one, we want to thank you for your service. It's been absolutely...
Well, I wasn't in the military.
Oh, you
I
were
was in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
That's a horse of a different color.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess we made that clear. Now,
that was a joke.
I know, but that wasn't for me. I mean, it's really up to the audience to decipher and take that out. Now, Gerrie, we think about where we were, where we are, where we plan on going. This has been a historic weekend. It's been so exciting to be a part of history, not just with the cigar smoking community, but also here in Tampa's backyard, right? And you were one of the first sponsors to come on. We thank you for believing in us, supporting in us. This is our first time taking the show on the road. What was one of the major reasons when you and I first spoke that you decided to come on board?
Well, whenever I think about cigars, you're always it doesn't matter who, where you're from, what you do. You're always meeting new people. You could be sitting next to a doctor, a senator, a CIA agent. It doesn't matter. And one thing that brings people together are just sitting and smoking and enjoying a cigar.
Yes.
Now,
in terms of with your business, you've been a Tampa resident for how long?
Oh God, we moved here in 1990.
Where are you originally from?
Well, my dad was in the military.
Okay.
Not the Marine Corps. He was in the Coast Guard. He was in the Coast Guard.
I told you, that's up for the audience to decipher. For me, I'm staying out of it, all right?
So I was born in Japan on base.
Okay.
And lived in New York, New Orleans, Massachusetts, Key West, back to Japan, and then 1990 he retired, and we moved here. We've been here ever since.
Now, you're a family man, which is equally important, which is why this show was created. It's all about establishing family, a network, to get out, to bring people together, to share an experience over a cigar, a cocktail if preferred, and to have a good time, which is what we've really done here today. When you think about not just the cigar smoking community, but you think about the rich history here in Tampa, what is it that makes Tampa so special? And I guess we could start with you and take it around.
Tampa is almost like the melting pot. There's people from Tampa that come from all over the world, but also a lot of people from all over the country I feel like they end up in Tampa. Something about maybe, well, I don't want to get political, but the freedoms that we have here in Florida. The weather's perfect. You enjoyed some of the weather in Florida recently from the beach.
I appreciate you pointing that out. I was trying to lay it low under the radar, but
I don't know. Just Tampa is just well-rounded. I feel. I feel it's well-rounded.
Okay. We're going to take a break. We're going to be right back, and when we get back, we're going to hear more about Tampa's rich history.
Shades of Havana and Cigar Journal thank you for celebrating and watching our historical J.C. Newman 128th Year Anniversary Series. As a sign of appreciation, we'll give you a 1-year free subscription to the digital magazine. Access the best information on the global cigar world at Cigar Journal. Scan the QR code and apply the coupon code SOH23TAMPA prior to checkout.
What's up, everybody? Chris Payne here, CEO and founder of the Fluke Apparel Company. In honor of this historical event, the Fluke Apparel Company will be offering a nice little discount for all you Shades of Havana, you cigar enthusiasts, conversational enthusiasts. All you need to do is go to flukeapparelco.com and at checkout enter the letters SOH and you will receive a 15% off discount of your entire purchase. For those of you that don't know us, we are a beach and golf apparel company formed right here at the Jersey Shore, and we are excited for you guys to be a part of our family too.
Visit Tampa Bay.
Welcome back to Shades of Havana. We're now discussing not only what it is in terms of the cigar smoking history, but also what makes Tampa rich in its own history. We just heard from Gerrie, Ira, and also Kenny. What is it that makes Tampa so special?
Well, to me, I'm from Florida. I'm from 70 miles from here, a place called Leesburg, Florida. When I was growing up, Leesburg had about 10,000 people. Back then, I knew Leesburg was too small for me. So in 1980, when I went in the Marine Corps, my recruiter actually got me to come back on recruiting duty here. So I got back here, and when I got to Tampa, it was like a breath of fresh air. This was home. This was a place that I know I would probably end up for the rest of my life. Like Gerrie said, the melting pot of people here is phenomenal. And the sports team, that's like great. Like during 2021, they renamed this Champa Bay, not Tampa Bay, but Champa, because we got the Bucks, the Lightning, the Rowdies, which is a soccer team, the Devil Rays went to the playoffs. The people here are phenomenal. The one thing I love about Tampa is, especially me dealing with so many people from the north, specifically New York and New Jersey. I've been up there. People up there are like tight. They don't want to talk to you. They're like, get out of my face, give me my space. But the minute they move here, again, it's like a breath of fresh air. It's like, I can trust people. And if somebody walks by and says, hey, Gerrie, hey, Bob, hey, John, whatever, they're like, how you doing? And people love it here. It's just such a welcoming environment. The crime is not nearly as bad as what's happening up in the north. And you just run into great people. Plus, the biggest part of Tampa, if you're a cigar smoker, is this. We've got cigar shops on every corner, like Walmart and CVS, like McDonald's and Burger King. Everywhere you go, there's a cigar shop. And I'm telling you, cigar people are absolutely phenomenal. So if you want to come to Tampa, at least come visit once.
Now, I would say Tampa, what I love most about Tampa, not to echo everything, but it is the people. I would say Tampa, in my opinion, is a hidden gem of Florida. I always hear people hear people say Miami, Orlando, these are your places. I'm like, what about Tampa? Tampa, for a while, during the pandemic, I think is when people started finally realizing it. And I can confirm what I was saying because I'm from Queens, New York. I know what he's talking about. There is a certain camaraderie, but it's not the camaraderie here. I've actually done more business for my mortgages business in a cigar lounge than I have in the office. And he could tell you that.
Is that right?
Right. Because I come here, and I know Ira, he don't know me. which is, I don't know, you're PI, you should know everything about me. But, you know, I see Ira over there a lot of times during his shift, and I'm like, even if I don't know you, I know of you, because we all frequent the same places. And then here, I mean, I always say cigars especially, the community here, it's just something where you can't have anything to do when you're smoking a good cigar. You have to sit here. It's a commitment. You know, this is a long-term relationship.
Yes.
And so when you sit here with a group of gentlemen, you find out everything about them. And guess what? I end up doing business. I did an open house the other day. The gentleman that walked in, he comes here every Friday just like I do. So this is not unfamiliar territory for me. I'm here all the time. I probably should get paid just as much as you, because I'm here every weekend too. So
it'd be a great thing if you were. And you know, you think about, you know, the community of people, but also Tampa-based community. You know, where we're staying, actually, as a matter of fact, you talk about Tiger King. We're staying right in the home next to where Reefer Madness took place.
Yeah.
Kind of scared the shit out of us. I mean, it's pretty wild. I went back, did a little research, and I'm thinking to myself, like, did this really go down? And yeah, it's everywhere. And I'm thinking, like, is this thing going to carry over into our home? But, you know, you talked about crime lowering, right? And there was a problem back in Tampa over the years, but Tampa has done such a great job at rebuilding and restoring its community, you know, with its redevelopment projects and, you know, restorations of the historic buildings that are taking place. It's quite remarkable. You know, you think about, I'm sure you guys are Buck fans ever since Tom Brady won the Super Bowl. I mean, you're probably not now when they lost, but
I still like Brady. I didn't like him before, but I like him now.
well, I mean, he gave you a ring. And
Absolutely, the first year.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, Tampa Bay, it's a shame that they lost out. But when you think about really, truly, you know, a city that's committed to its people, right? The cigar smoking community is, you know, the former capital city of the world. Without its businesses, without its people believing in its city and its future, you know, nothing is possible. So when you think about, you know, people coming down, you know, how have you seen the landscape change over the past 3 years, and where do you see it going?
You know, when I first moved here from Wesley Chapel, which is North Tampa, there was a single lane road that you would get to Tampa, to Bears. It was one road, one single road. You could take that, and it was called the Road to Nowhere. And you could fly down that road. Now,
Road to nowhere.
Yeah, the Road to Nowhere. But now that road is like 6 lanes wide. There's probably about 20 some or 30 stoplights. There's neighborhoods like built up and down, businesses all up and down there. And there's almost no reason to come to Tampa, but Tampa is so diverse that you still want to come down. Man, like downtown Tampa, the changes that happened in downtown Tampa just during the pandemic, like 2019, went to downtown, came back and just drove through in 2022. It's all new. Like, what's his name? The owner of the Lightning.
yeah.
Vinnick and his group has really transformed downtown to where it's instead of just a place you go for one thing and leave, it's like a destination. You can park now, and
isn't that great?
It's great. It's like it's changed so much.
I've got a great metaphor for it. I bought my first house in 2015.
Okay.
And I had friends from New York, and you know, New York lifestyle, you know, you're awake all night. They came here and they were calling this God's waiting room. They're like, there's nothing to do out in Wesley Chapel, especially. So they came back in 2021 and they were like, okay, we know what to expect. We're going to lay around. I was like, this is a different Tampa.
Yep.
I said, we got breweries, we got cigar lounges, we got a great coffee community here. There's something to do all the time in Tampa now.
Okay.
To the point where they're like, okay, we got to come back here more often because it's a melting, like everyone said here, it's a melting pot.
Fantastic.
I think there were articles that basically said this is the fastest growing city in the States.
Wow.
And I don't know how true that is, but the articles, you know, said that, and I believe it just from, I mean, Gerrie can tell you the amount of homes that we've sold to Northerners coming down is just ridiculous in the past couple years.
But you think about given our times, right?
Yeah.
We're living in a world of craziness with social media,
Absolutely.
conquer, divide, you know, and we're pushing it out. People want to leave New York City, LA, you know, they're all fleeing to
Absolutely.
Texas and Florida, wherever it is, you know, to believe in the city that believes in its people, wanting to bring it back, you know, committed to bringing it back, not just financially, but also, you know, through its, you know, sporting, right? I mean, you guys, Tampa Bay Lightning came right back. When did Tampa Bay Lightning come?
When they first started.
When did they first start?
Like 92?
92. Right, and so they are committed in several different ways, but also too, like, to the community. The cigar community is so important and vital to here. There was a fact that in 1962, when President Kennedy put into the trade embargo, the Cuban embargo, that completely squashed and closed out 200 cigar manufacturers. That's a lot of business that's to be lost,
Right.
and that where Vinchete Martinez Ybor, had worked so hard to establish Ybor as a city. You think about the progression and the regression of what it is, to know that you can believe in the city behind and the vision forward. There's got to be a special feeling. I mean, here, the three of you are talking about the importance of what Tampa represents. What is it that, if you could share with the people of why you would want to come to Tampa, like, what would it be?
I would just say come for the camaraderie, and it doesn't matter what you like, there is something for you to do here. And the fact that the weather is perfect. I mean, none of us have really touched on that, but we have Florida weather. It's not like, Miami and stuff like that, where it's always, I would say it's a lot more sunny here than, in Miami, where it's always rainstorms and things like that. And hey, and if anybody's watching that's from Miami, I apologize. But
there goes half our audience.
Like I said, it's a hidden gem because Tampa's just always been like, there's destination spots. For some reason, Tampa was always the redheaded stepchild of Florida, where I'm like, we're amazing over here. Why don't you come here? And now people are starting to see that after everything closed up and we remained open, people are starting to see that.
Ira?
Yeah, and you're right. Tampa is like what I call a little country city.
Okay.
You can be in the city, just like Gerrie said, you can be outside the city. So for people who don't want to be directly in, 20 minutes, you can be in and out. I mean, there's just, again, like he said, the differences with Miami, I think the weather is like perfect here. And it's funny, I get a lot of people that come here and people will be like, from the north, they'll say, well, I like the season. And I say, you know what, I love the seasons too. I like to look at it on my screensaver. Oh, look, there's winter. Oh, look, there's fall. Oh, look. And go outside in my shorts and enjoy the warm weather.
Right.
I mean, we've got 9 months out of the year warm weather versus 3 or 4 months in like New York, Chicago, whatever. Weather's perfect here. Now, I'm not saying I want everybody to move to Tampa because things are skyrocketing, prices, housing, apartments, everything's skyrocketing because so many people are moving here. And again, and previously, I've had people just coming here to visit. They'll come, they'll stop here, and they're like, I'm moving here, just based off this place. And then based off other cigar community or cigar shops within Tampa. It's just a great place, friendly people, a warm atmosphere for people to come and see.
Ira's right, because we're the ones selling them the houses. Trust me, he can tell you, our business was a lot of people coming and moving here. So that is not a lie at all.
It's going to be great for business for you, as you continue to close business and work for referrals, to know that people are continuously moving down here. It's got to open up a tremendous amount of opportunity, right?
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite things that in our business is that we've helped so many young, not just young, we've helped a lot of people get their first house.
Okay.
And, I would say that's their first investment property. Because we've helped people get their first and second and so on and so forth. We help people get investment properties. We talk to people from all over the country. We have people calling us from New Jersey, New York, California. I mean, it's unbelievable how many people I'd say we'd help acquire the American dream of home ownership in Tampa. And the pandemic has turned my family, my wife and I, into RVers. And like we rented an RV first, and then when we came back, we ended up purchasing one like the next month. And since then, we traveled around a lot of different places, and there's no other place that I would call home. And that's after seeing 26 different states.
Well, you got to say, when you think about the American dream, George Carlin always said, to believe in the American dream, you got to be asleep to believe it. To hear when you can see activity continue to move forward, you can see Tampa, what it represents, what it's doing for its people, what you guys are doing, how proud you are to live here. It's really special to be here on the panel with you guys today. I can't thank you enough, Gerrie. You know, as a sponsor, the first sponsor of this event, this historical event, you know, this is a relationship that I hope that we start. Where can people find you? Is there a website or link that they can find you?
Yeah, they can find us at blissmortgage.com or at Bliss Mortgage on all social platforms.
Great.
Yep.
And so basically, you know, once again, I do want to say thank you for coming out, being a part, taking part of history, not just for Tampa, but for Shades of Havana. We thank you for coming out. And our only question is what?
What are you smoking?
Shades of Havana, with guest host Michael Doyle and special guests Gerrie Bliss, Ira Lockhart, and Kenny Majiid. Co-producers John P. Doyle, Steve Zimke, Kara Guayardo. Producers David Zimmel, Erwin Sternberg, Ricky Rodriguez, Reinhold Widmeyer. Executive producers Sean Sternberg, Michael R. Doyle. Directed by Rod Weber. Created by Michael R. Doyle and Rod Weber. Camera and sound Charles Rodriguez and Oscar R. Urdaneta. Editor, Steve Zimke. Special thanks to Charles Rodriguez at Big Boy Media Group. The Detour Duo, Tony and Sarah, travel content creators. Senior Editor and Chief of Cigar Journal, Reinhold Widmeyer. Co-founder of West Tampa Tobacco, Ricky Rodriguez. And thanks to Jeffrey Borshowicz, President and CEO of Corona Cigar Company, for allowing Shades of Havana to capture the beauty and unique setting of Corona Cigar Company, Tampa. Shades of Havana was brought to you by Tampa Porsche, Bovita, Rabbit Air, Man Cave King, Bliss Mortgage, Fluke Apparel Company, Otis Eyewear, and Visit Tampa Bay. Shades of Havana and Cigar Journal thank you for celebrating and watching our historical J.C. Newman's 128th year anniversary series. Access the best information on the global cigar world, everything that happens in the premium cigar industry, news, launches, personalities, awards, and above all, our cigar rankings and blind tastings. Scan the QR code where you will receive a free 1-year digital subscription to Cigar Journal. Our sponsors' websites and phone numbers are also provided in the show notes. When you visit our sponsors, you're helping them and helping our show. And if you enjoy Shades of Havana, we hope you tell your friends and give us a great rating wherever you get your podcasts. All opinions expressed by the Shades of Havana participants are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Shades of Havana, Inc., a subsidiary of MRD Productions LLC. Shades of Havana is an MRD production.